Hello, and welcome to our very first eFront webinar. Today, we're going to explore in detail how an admin or an instructor can use eFront Learning in order to create informative and engaging courses for their users. Let me present myself. I'm Nick. I'm a customer education specialist, but I'm not alone here today. I have with me Mary.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm the Customer Education Manager, and I'm here today to help Nick with this presentation.
That's right. And what are we going to talk about today? We mentioned we're going to look in regards to the courses. And of course, the plan today is to see a couple of things. So first off, we want to see how we can set the right course settings so we can prepare ourselves, how we can upload our files and create different types of units, how we can schedule live events in our courses, how to grade units in our courses, how you can use rooms like forums with discussions to get feedback. And at the end, we're going to have some bonus features for you that will help you out in regards to course creation. Just to let you know, of course, the session is being recorded and you are going to be receiving that in an email after the session is done. And we're not alone, just Mary and me. We have together with us George here, who is going to be helping out with your questions. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you have a QA button. So you can just click on that and you can type your answer and George will be more than happy to help you with that. The session is going to take approximately 1 hour. Now, many of you, of course, here are administrators. Maybe some of you are already instructors. And of course, you have the ability to create courses for yourselves and for your users. So what we're going to see today is the fact that we're going to see how easy it is to use eFront Learning in order to create your courses and to use the different features that are already in place, but maybe sometimes we tend to overlook them. However, just before we start the course, we need to be prepared. So we need to hand it over to Mary, who is going to be there to show us what we need to do in advance just to be prepared.
Thank you, Nick. So let's start and let's go to the platform. I'm sure that this view is very familiar to you. And here you can see the admin view and the course and all the features that you need to prepare before you actually create the course on the top of the screen. So let's think about, do you want to create simple online courses or do you want to have also live sessions as part of the training? Do you want to give certificates at the end of the course and how you will organize them or group courses together? Let's see at the features you have on the top of the screen and let's start from this part and create our locations. With eFront, you have the option to create locations from beforehand. So when you are inside your course, you can schedule a session and you can pick whether you would like to have it in a physical place or using your conference tool. You can create your own physical locations. You can add physical locations, give it a name, perhaps add the address right there, your time zone, and save that. And you also have the option to connect and integrate with your conference tool. So for example, if you have Zoom, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, if you have any of these tools, you can integrate it with eFront. And it's not just one tool that you can integrate. If as a company you're using 2 different tools, you can integrate them both and then pick when it's time to have your live session with which tool you would like to have that. All the live locations, physical locations and online locations will be saved right here. So you know what you have created. And next, let's go to the certificates. So here we are. There is a template in most of your portals, if I'm not mistaken, but let's create our own certificates. And what we need in the certificates is to look that it comes from our company, right? So let's go first to images. And if you have your logo, if there is a signature that you should have on the certificate, let's upload the image first here so we can later use it in our templates. Now let's go to templates and add a new one. We need to work with the XML in order to customize and design our own certificate. And you will find at the bottom the placeholders available so we can publish the right information. You need to create just one certificate if you want to. And of course, we will replace the name of the user with the learner that actually took the course, so it always looks more personalized. You don't have to create many different certificates. But if you need to do that, of course, you can save many different templates, as you can give to the certificate a different name every time and save that. If you want, I just want to let you know about this feature, you can also create certificates in different languages. Perhaps you're not using eFront in just one location, so you have employees all over the world, and we have people that speak Spanish, for example. If they have selected on their profile to see the platform in Spanish, we can send them a certificate that is translated to Spanish as well. So you can work on this template, the Spanish version, and when they complete the course, again, if their language has been updated in their profile and they have Spanish there, they will get the Spanish certification. You can create as many certificates as you want. You save them and you will find them all right here, so we can later assign them to the right courses. And before we actually create a course, you might need to consider a little bit from now how they will be organized on your catalog. So we have categories to help you organize your courses into different topics. It's very straightforward. You can see here all the categories I've created and how many courses are assigned right now. If you want to add a new category, you just give it a name right here and save that. If you want, you can also create subcategories. So give it a name, select the parent one, and then save. And now we're ready to create our own courses. So back to you, Nick.
Thanks a lot, Mary. And by now you should be seeing my screen as well. And let's actually talk about creating a course. So what we need to do here, of course, right now I'm an admin, so I'm just going to click on courses overall, and I'm going to add a course. So I click on add course. And here we have a lot of options that we need to talk about. First off, we have the image of the course. So I can just click on edit here and upload a thumbnail. And this is going to be, of course, the thumbnail that is going to be used in order to identify the course. Then I need to give my course a name. So maybe I can call this course Sales Advanced, for example. Now, once I have the name set up, if I want, I can set the course under a specific category. Mary talked about the categories before. So right now we know that if we want, we can put our course under one of these categories that are already created. So maybe we want to put it under the sales category. And then we have the type. The type is one of the most important choices we have to do because it is going to determine how our course is going to behave overall. If we're talking about the traditional e-learning courses, so a course that is going to contain some videos, it's going to contain maybe presentations, maybe some SCORM files, or whatever you want, then this is going to be a traditional e-learning course. If you want to incorporate, however, live training sessions in your course, so if you want to incorporate the locations Mary showed you earlier, what you need to do is you need to select blended learning here. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a blended learning course. And we have the description. For the description, we have our advanced editor here. You can add videos, you can add code, you can add images, pretty much anything you want. This is also working with HTML. So if you want to code, by all means, you can click here on code view and code to your heart's content. But right now, we're just going to add a very simple description here, just to let people know what's happening in regards to our course and what is it about. And then we have more settings, and these are our advanced settings. So if we just click here, we'll see that we have a lot more options that just opened up. As we see, we have the ability to add a course code. This is very useful because you can use the course code when you want to search for a code, for example. It makes it a lot easier. Instead of searching just for the name of the course, which might be a big thing or descriptive, you can use the codes to make your life a lot easier. In addition, here we have some checkboxes that are very important. My course here can be active or inactive. And the way you can think about it is an active course is a course that is accessible to my learners, whereas an inactive course is like a course that is under construction. So it is under construction and nobody can actually access it except for the administration team and any instructors that are associated with it. But once it is made active, then my learners can actually access it. I have the ability also to show the course on catalog, or if I don't want this to happen, I can just uncheck it and it's going to be hidden. So I can give it a la carte on demand to just specific people and the course will be hidden for the rest of the people that I have. And you have the ability to also enable discussions. Enabling discussions is very important because if you want to have the ability to discuss with your learners the contents of your course, and this goes just one step further than a simple survey, then you can just enable the discussions here. And we're going to talk about discussions a lot just a bit later. In addition, we have the ability to automatically assign the course to new users. And what this means is the moment we create a new user in our system, if we have this option checked, then they will be automatically assigned this specific course. So if this is something that is targeted towards our new hires, this is the way to go about it. We have the ability to add a price to the course if this course is something that we're looking to monetize. And then we're looking into possible time constraints in regard to our course. So a lot of people might have courses that are having some time constraints. Maybe you have a specific guest speaker. Maybe the course is only reflecting on a specific time frame. So here you can set up your time settings for the course. So I can set up my course to be available from. So let's say that this course is going to happen just for one day, next Monday, for example. So I can say it's going to start on next Monday, which is the 12th. And actually by clicking on the little clock here, I can set up the starting date. So maybe it's going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you get to determine if you want an end date. So let's say we want to run this for 2 weeks. So I can set up a date as well for that. So I want it to expire on the 26th of December. And I can set up the date as well. Maybe I want this to be a bit later in the night. So I'll give it up to 11:45, for example, to just give enough time for people to complete it. This is very useful, again, if you have a course that has a specific time that it needs to start and a specific time that it needs to end. However, there is also the possibility that you might have a course that that is targeted to new hires. If that course that is targeted to new hires, probably you have multiple batches of new hires coming in during a whole year. So you don't want to just limit the course maybe every 2 weeks on a repeatable basis. What you could do instead is, instead of using these time constraints, you could actually set up a time limit. And you could go here and say that the course is available for, let's say, 14 days or 15 days, whatever you want. So what does this practically mean? This means that everybody has the time frame to complete the course, that is 14 days in our case here, from the time they are enrolled to the course. And it doesn't matter if they are self-enrolled or if an admin or an instructor enrolled my learner to the course. At the point where their association with the course starts, they have 14 days to complete it. So everybody has the same limit, but it's flexible in terms of when it starts and when it ends. Here also, we have the ability to decide what is going to happen when our course expires. So it doesn't matter if we set up a time limit or we have hard caps in terms of when our course is going to expire. Here, you get to determine the behavior of the course in regards to the users. And you have a couple of different options. When the course expires, do you want everybody to lose access to it? Or maybe do you want to reward the people that were diligent and completed the course in time? If that is the case, select this option, prevent access to the course unless completed. Or maybe you just want to give everybody some extra days, in which case you can allow everybody to access the course. Another option that is very important here is this one, depends on. And this is very useful if you want to make chains of courses. So maybe I'm in a situation where I want to give to my learners 2 or 3 courses together, and I want the learners to be able to take them in a specific order. Here is how I can set this up. So as you see, depends on, and then I have, for example, a course for Windows 10. There it is. So if I set it up here, then I can give the Windows 10 course and the Sales Advanced course that I'm just creating to my learners in the same time. However, this course right here is going to be locked and will only unlock when this course first is completed. Lastly, but very importantly, you have the ability to give a certificate to a course. This is very important, but there are many legitimate times where you don't want to give a certificate. As we said, maybe here we're building a chain. So maybe our course is in the middle of the chain, in which case you want to give the certificate to your learners when they complete all the courses. That's absolutely fair. So you don't always need to put a certification. But if you do, Mary showed us before how we can create the certificates. It's a drop-down and you select the certificate you want to use. Now you will notice that once I selected the certificate, I have additional options in regards to how to set it up. Most people will be happy just setting the certificate forever, which means you get the certificate now and it is good forever. However, we see a lot more organizations slowly turn towards certificates that are issued maybe every 6 months or maybe every year. So we have rolling certificates for continued education, especially in subjects that are compliance, maybe for HR purposes or cybersecurity purposes. So if that is the case, let's assume that this course is one our learners have to take yearly. Instead, setting the certificate to last forever, we're going to click here on years and set it up to last, let's say, 1 year. Of course, you can move the slider if you want different values. So it's going to be up for a year. Now, here's the really cool thing. You can have the system reassign the course automatically to your learners when they are near the expiration of the certificate. So right now it is set, I clicked on reassign on expiration. Let's be a bit proactive. Let's give them, for example, 1 week, so 7 days before expiration. And this way, the system is going to track when the user gets initially the certificate by completing the course. And the system is going to remember that the certificate expires in a year. 7 days before the certificate finally expires, the system will reassign the course to the user. And also, any changes we made in the meantime are going to be included in the most updated version of the course, and the learner has to retake the course to become once more certified. Also, you get the ability to determine what is going to happen in regards to the new certificate that is issued. So if you want, for example, to renew the existing certificate or just to issue a completely new one. Once you're ready, click on Add, and then you have added your course.
And that's exciting. You have created your first course, but now let's start uploading our files, okay? Let me share my screen. So now we're inside the course. Once you hit the save button, you will be transferred to the dashboard of the course so you can start uploading your files. And if you have presentations, videos, Word documents, PDF files, just drag and drop them into this area. And I will try this. I have here a PDF file, just a moment to bring that to the right screen. Here we are, you see that? I'm dropping the file into the content area and this will create my first unit. You see this right here. You can either do this and upload the files directly into the content area so you can create right away your units, or you can hit the add content button and go to the files folder. You can also drag and drop all the files that you want right here and then choose which of them will be used as part of your course. So you can set them as content units in that course. So you see 2 ways to drag and drop your files. And another reason why we're here, I would like to show you that all the files that you upload in eFront are saved in this area. So it's like you have a library for every course and all the files you're using are right here. Don't worry if you accidentally delete something from your device, it happens. Here you can download it back to your desktop, or you can use it to share files with your learners. So if we share a file, the learner will be able to download it, download this right when we enter the course. So this is one way, just drag and drop your files. Actually, it's my favorite way. Let's go back to the course. And I want to also show you when you add a content unit, you have the option to create units. And here we can define later what type of unit it's gonna be. So let's hit that. You see, we can create a unit, we can give it a name, and we're gonna either use the editor, the built-in editor that eFront offers, and it's quite advanced. You can type everything that you want here, use images, links, and videos, and also switch to the code view if you want to use HTML right here and make your content really stand out. You can, of course, upload your own files. Instead of drag and dropping now the files, you do this one by one, and you can upload, again, presentations, videos, Word documents. If you're using SCORM files, you can use SCORM 1.2, and we also partially support SCORM 2004. You can use the URL in order to embed external content. I think sometimes you want to use articles, perhaps, that are in a different site. So you can just copy the URL and bring it here. And as we say, we're going to use it as an iframe unit. The content that exists in another site will actually be in eFront. So learners will not have to leave the learning platform. It's not a good practice to send them to links and find more information outside of the platform. Everything will be just right here. Or you can use the H5P editor And if you have an account there, you can use the more advanced types of questions right here in eFront. Whenever you create a content unit, you also need to decide how it's going to be completed. By default, we have a button at the bottom of the screen, so the learners will just have to click on the button, confirm that they have completed the unit, and then they will be led to the next one. Or you can ask a question. If they get it right, then they know everything. So the unit is marked as completed, and then they can go to the next unit. You can use the after a period of time. I really like this, especially with videos, because there's going to be a timer at the bottom of the screen. And if you use this rule as well, whenever the system understands that the learner is idle for, let's say, 10 seconds, it means that probably they left the video playing and, they went to the kitchen and tried to cook something. Well, the system will understand this and freeze the video. So they have to show that they're active and they're right there. But for SCORM files, you don't have to do anything because you know that you have designed already the completion rules in your authoring tool. So when you drop the SCORM file right here, eFront will understand when the file is completed to mark the unit completed as well. And this is how we can create our, let's say, mostly theoretical part of our course. Now let's see how we can add some short knowledge checks and make sure that the learners have understood what we have done before by creating tests and assignments. So with the test, let's go and add a new one. We can give it a name, add a description, and in the advanced settings, set a time limit if we want. Define how many times we would like the learners to repeat the test. If you don't add anything here, they can try as many times as they want. What is the passing score? I will be strict. I want to get all the questions right, so they have to get 100% and then they will move on. If you want, you can lock the test and ask for a password or for some personal information, and when they provide that, they will be able to take the test. You can choose what will be visible after submitting the test, and there are two options here. If they pass, can we show the score, the correct answers? If they failed, maybe we should hide the correct answers. It's your choice. You design this. How the test will be completed. Do we want all the questions to be in one page, or we want to show only one question every time? What will happen if the test is for some reason interrupted and they left the computer? Do we want the test to be submitted, or they can continue from where they left when they're ready again? And here, we can choose what kind of test we are creating. I believe that most of you are familiar with the normal test mode, where we create questions because the purpose is to check the knowledge of our users. So the score will be saved in our reports and we will be able to review their answers. That's the normal test. But we have two more. You can use the self-assessment test mode, which means that we're creating a test, but we don't care about the score. It's more like a way for our learners to repeat again and again the same questions until they master the topic. So it's more a method to repeat again their knowledge and make sure they learned something new. We don't care about the score. So you won't find something in reports if you choose this method. Or we can use the knowledge parity assessment test, which is great if you feel that you have learners that are not all on the same level. For example, we're creating a sales course. We have new hires, so they're starting now to learn more about this job, and we have also some existing employees that are very good at this, but they all have to get this training. I can use the knowledge parity assessment test, and if they pass, the existing employees, the old ones that they know their staff, they will prove they didn't need the course. So they can actually skip a lesson. So some units, they can be skipped if they pass the knowledge parity assessment. If not, the system understands that the people need to learn a bit more, so they won't be able to skip the lesson. They won't be able to skip the next units. So they have to get through the course, the entire course. But I'm going to create a normal test. And let's save and start adding our questions. You have many different types of questions to use, like multiple choice, true, false, matrix questions. You can also create a randomized test. So you create your questions and then you select which of these questions will be randomly selected by our system to create a randomized test. I'm going to show you the multiple choice. Let's do this. I know you're using that a lot. So here you can add your question. Again, you see the advanced editor, so you can use images if you want to. You can add here your answers, define which is the correct one. And then you save the question. When you hit the save button, the question will be added to our test. This is one way to create questions. Another way is that you can reuse questions, so it's much faster. If you have done this already, if you feel there are questions in other courses that you could use for this one as well, you don't have to recreate them. Save time and just tell to our system to bring the questions right here. Show me all the questions from other lessons. So here they are. You see the question, you see from which course it comes, and if you want to use that to our test, just add it right here. So we added the questions, it's ready. The learners will try to complete the test and the score will be automatically be calculated by our system. I'm saying that, but just a small parenthesis, if you're using this question, free text with keywords, free text with a file upload, for this one, this is the only type of question that we want the involvement of our instructor. If you're using a test with that question, the test when submitted, it will be in a pending status until the instructor reviews that answer and provide the feedback. But if you're using just the rest of the questions, the types of questions we have here, the system will be able to generate the score alone. So we don't need your involvement in that case. And that's the test, guys. Now let's go back, and I also want to show you how to create an assignment. With the assignment, we can actually have more like role-playing scenarios incorporated in our courses. So let me just give it a name right here and decide how the assignment will be completed. It's a little bit different. We want the learners probably to provide a file or recording or a bigger answer. They don't have the option to just select the right answer. So we really want an instructor to check the answer. That's why the assignment can be completed if you want only when the instructor accepts the answer, which means that the learner will submit their answer and they have to wait for the instructor's feedback. If you don't have the time to do that, don't worry, we can accept any answer the moment that is submitted. And whenever you have time, you can go back and check the submissions and provide your feedback. So let's add a description. So here, for example, I could say how you're planning to sell our product. So here is my scenario. You can upload a file as well. The learners will be able to download, fill it in, and send it back to you. And if you want, you can also add a time limit. So we save the assignment. And I'm just going to show you also the learner view more or less. The learner will be able to see that this is an assignment unit. They have right here your question. And now they can get back to you with many different ways. They can type their answer, they can drag and drop a file, or record an answer, which means that they can use their camera from their device. No external applications to record themselves and then upload it in eFront. Just right away hit the video recording, or they can use the audio recording. Again, we're going to access just the microphone so they can record their answer or even their screen. They submit that to you, and then you get a notification if this is enabled, and you will know that you have to check the answer of your learners.
So we have the course created and we added a lot of units. However, we already mentioned that we can get a lot of different units in our course. So what I'm going to do, I'll just go back again into the dashboard of the course, how we were before with Mary, and let's see how we can add live sessions. After all, we mentioned that we want to have a course that is going to be blended learning. So we want to incorporate live sessions together. So because this is exactly a live session, a course based on live sessions, you will see I have here this little unit that is there, and it allows me to add live sessions. So in order to do that, we can just click on it. We'll go to our sessions, and we're ready to add sessions. So what we actually want to do, and let's say that this is at the beginning of our full course, maybe we want to have a meeting. So we want our new hires to meet their instructor. And actually, we want to give them the option for two different sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session. So we will need to have 2 sessions here. So let's make the first one. As you see, we are already here, and I have to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Meet Your Instructor Morning Session. Now we get to determine where this is going to be held. This is not online. This is going to happen at the office, for example, here. So I can select the office. The date could be whenever it works for us. So maybe let's say it's next Monday. And of course, by clicking here, you can set the time. So we set this in the morning. So maybe we want it to be at 8:30 in the morning. You also can set up the duration. So maybe we want this to be 90 minutes, for example. So 1.5 hours, people can meet their instructor and ask them any questions. However, that's not all. We have advanced settings. Let's see what we can do here. So first off, if we have limited availability in terms of seating, we can set up our maximum seats. So right now, we don't have any issues here. It is open for everybody. But if I want, I can change this. And maybe we can set it up to a capacity of 50. This means, of course, 50 people, the first 50 people to register are going to be able to get in there. Now, if I want to be more specific and maybe to see if we don't have enough people who register on time, and maybe in the future decide if we want to cancel the session, we can get a cap on the registration. So we can say, for example, that the registration for our learners is going to end 4 days before the actual session is going to take place. So this is enough time for my instructor who's going to do live the session to evaluate if they have enough participation and if they actually want to go through with the session, or maybe if they don't have enough, they can reschedule it for another day just by changing here the date. We also give the ability, if we want, to people to cancel their registration, and maybe I can allow people to cancel their registration at a maximum of 2 days before the session starts. And now that I'm ready, I just click on Add. And as you see, it is already added here, and I'm going to see it on my list. So that's very nice. And I created the one of the 2 sessions. And as you see, I have all the details here, the seating for the 50 people, and right now it's active. If for any reason I want to deactivate it, I can just toggle it here. Now we said we're going to add a second session, and I'll click again on Add Session just to be able to have an afternoon session. So I'm going to change the name here, and I will call it the afternoon session. It's going to be on the same location. It's going to be on the same date, but the difference is going to be on the time. So maybe we want to set this up, for example, at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to have the same duration as well. So it's going to be 90 minutes. And maybe for this one, because it's the afternoon, we don't want to put the cap on the amount of people we can host. So I'm going to leave this blank so it's for everybody. And we don't have any qualms about the registration or the cancellation. Maybe we're looking forward to people that don't pick up the morning session and change their mind to join us in the afternoon. So I just click on Add here, and we have added 2 different sessions. Now, a bit later, we're going to see how this looks for the learner, and we can see how they get the choice between which one of these 2 sessions works for them. In addition to that, though, we can go back to our course and talk about something very important, the feedback of our learners. So when we want feedback from our learners, what's the easiest way to actually get that feedback? That is by adding a survey. So we can click here on Add Survey, and we can actually get our survey going. The first thing and the most important is to give it a title, of course. And we'll just call it, for example, Your Opinion Matters. We can give it a description if you want. Right now, for our example, we're not going to give a description. And if we want, we can set up the action. So what happens when my learner completes the survey? Maybe I want to show them a message. Maybe I want to show the answers that they gave to the questions of the survey. The more common thing is for people to send them a message and thank them for their participation. You get, of course, to decide how we're going to navigate through the survey. So maybe we want the questions to be one by one and we don't allow them to move back. Up to you entirely on how you want to have this happening. And let's say we're ready, we will save and prepare to select our questions. Now, a very common type of question that works extremely well with surveys is the matrix question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a question and I'm going to add a matrix type question. Now, the way the matrix questions work generally is that you have a question, and then the answer looks like a grid, kind of like an Excel if you want. So I have already my question here. I'm just going to add it, and I'm just asking, in general, how satisfied or dissatisfied are my learners with each of the following? And now I'm ready to actually create my grid. So as you see, the grid has rows and columns. What we're going to do is we're going to get the satisfaction level on the columns, and on the rows, we're going to have the different fields that we want our people to decide how satisfied or not they are. So let's look at what options we have. So we can say, for example, on the first column that they are very satisfied. We want to have another one. Of course, you can add more. I'm just going to add 3 here. This is the medium one. They're not very happy, but they feel it was adequate. And we want to add one more. We just click on the plus symbol, and now we added the third option. And this is going to be for the people that were very dissatisfied. So I click on that, and there we go. This is for everybody that was very dissatisfied. So these are the potential answers. What about the actual questions we're asking? So the first thing probably I want to ask has to do with what did they think in regards of the course itself, the content. Was it interactive enough? Here's my question. What did you think in regards to the interactivity of the course? How happy, how satisfied they were with that? Also, I can ask, for example, what did they think of the amount of content in the course? Do they believe it was good enough, maybe it was not a lot of content? Up to them to tell me what they thought. And also, of course, maybe I want to ask them also what they thought about the difficulty of the course. So I can add that as a new row. So now I have a 3 rows and 3 columns grid here. All I need to do, I click on Create Matrix, and look at how it looks. So I have my columns with the satisfaction levels, and horizontally I have my rows, which are the questions to which people can pick their satisfaction level. Now, this is very important here, and it's the reply mode. Why do we care about the reply mode? Because probably we want the person to be able to just select one satisfaction level for each row here. So I don't want many checkboxes per row. Let's just have one checkbox per row. Save the question. And now that we saved the question, we're going to see that it is included in our survey. It is marked as yes. And if we want, we can actually have a look at our survey to see how it looks like for our learners. That's my title here, Your Opinion Matters. I could have put a description, it would show up here. It tells me I have one question. And if I actually start it, you will see that I have my matrix question, and I can answer here, or here, or here, or here, wherever I want, basically. And as you see in every row, I can just select only one column. Then my learners click on Submit Survey, and then they're basically ready with the survey. Maybe you want to add a free text so they can give you their opinion in written, entirely up to you. So you created all of these courses. We have the course, we have the units inside, the surveys, we have the tests, we have the assignments. What if you're not happy with the order? Maybe you decide that you want to swap over the test with the assignment. Can you do this? Absolutely. The only thing you need to do is you need to click here on Edit Mode, and this is going to unlock the ordering for you. So once this is now a green button, it's toggled on, all you need to do is just drag and drop. And this way, you can move everything around to set them up exactly in the order that works for you in regards to the presentation of the course. Once you're ready, you just click on it again, and basically everything is locked so that you can continue with the course and have everything set up exactly the way you want to.
And now let's go to the final step and check how the course will be completed. For this one, we need to go to the course rules right here. So first of all, how would you like the average score to be calculated and saved in reports? There are different types of units like assignments and tests where we have a score. Do you want to also include this when calculating the average score? You can choose here what is the rule, and we will calculate the score for you. And it's never too late to change that, because even if you have launched your course, there are learners that have already taken that course, you can recalculate it afterwards, so we can update the users. and how the learners will be able to complete the units. You see, we have turned on the edit mode, so we have fixed how the units will look like for our learners, and they cannot skip units unless we want them to be able to skip units. So you can either enable the serial rule. This way they cannot skip units. They have to take first unit, second, third one in a specific row, or they can skip units and they complete them in the order they want. And also, when the course will be considered completed. The default option that you will find when you first create a course is to complete all the units, but you can use different conditions, and that's what we have now on the screen. I have chosen already that I want my learners just to complete the tests. And even if they don't complete the rest of the units, it's okay. That's the rule I want for this course. And if you want, you can combine this with different conditions. So let's have a look. Again, you can choose whether you want all the units to be completed, specific units, assignments, and there's also this nice rule where we want the learners to spend at least an hour. This is what I have now on my screen. I can change that, and here we are. All the tests must be completed and also spend an hour in that course. And you're ready. The course is launched for your users, and now you can start either adding them or you can allow them to enroll themselves alone from the catalog.
Absolutely, and thanks, Mary. So, course is ready, everything is set up, our rules are in place. How about adding some users then? To do that, we have to go over to the Users tab, where I'm going to see a lot of my different users. So let's just start off by adding a specific person. So let's say I want to add Mr. Adams here. All I need to do, mouse over that specific person, click on Enroll Now, and now that person is enrolled. Also, what you can do if you want to have all the people that are enrolled up here on the top, you can just click on enrollment and it's going to sort. And as you see, everybody who's enrolled on the course is just up here on the top. Now, if I change my mind and I want to remove this person, I can click on enrolled once more and that person is unenrolled from the course. Quite intuitive. So that person is added. But as you see, I have a couple of different options here in regards to the learners. And I have a couple of different buttons. So let's see what I can do. First off, I have this little calendar. I can click on it. And as you see here, this allows me to force the user to register in one of my training sessions. So maybe the user did not have time to register. Maybe they could not visit the portal. They had a health issue, for example. So they asked me, can you register me for the afternoon session? Absolutely. You just click on the calendar and then you click here or select for the afternoon session. And now that person is registered here. What if we change our mind? Or maybe they got enrolled accidentally to the afternoon session and they wanted the morning one. You can click again here and unregister them. And then you can select the morning session. So it's absolutely fine. You can move your learners around based on your needs or based on something unexpected maybe that happened from their end. In addition to that, you will see that this person, because I just enrolled them, they have not really started the course. However, I have this learner who is in progress and they have completed around a third of the course. What I can do here is that I can use this kind of recycling symbol to synchronize them. And by synchronizing them, we mean that we can actually bring up to speed the learner with the contents of the course. So if I add or remove context from the course, I can click on synchronize and it's going to just bring that information up to date. Finally, I have this little pencil. What does this do? I can edit with that. And here, I have a couple of things I can change. So I can change the status of the person, if they are in progress, if they have maybe completed this on the past, if they failed the course is expired, everything I want. A really handy feature here is if I have to use historical completion data, so maybe my people completed the courses in a previous environment, what I can do is I can set this as being completed. And I can set, for example, the date and the time that person was registered and the date and the time that person completed the course. So this way, I can get historical completion data right inside my course. Or maybe what I can do is I can change here the progress of a specific person, and maybe I want to reset them, or even reset their progress on the course and even revoke their certificate. In addition, I have the ability to extend the expiration date of the course. So maybe we had some medical emergency or any issue really, and this specific learner could not make it in time. Can I do an exception for them? Absolutely. I just click here And I can set an additional, for example, 3 days and extend the course expiration just for this person. Now, all of these settings can actually apply to multiple people. So if I have 2 users that I actually want to extend the course for example, this one and this one, I can just click on the right here, and then I can click on the top with selected, and I have exactly the same options as before. So maybe I can just extend for these 2 specific people, or I can set up historic completion data. So maybe they completed the course on that date and that date. So it's very easy to manage your users inside the course, set up their individual completion status, and make sure that you know exactly where you're heading.
And the last one was a great feature. It's a very common question, actually. Can we bring training that has been done outside of eFront right here? And now let's complete exploring all the options from the first row by taking curricula as well. Curricula, it's a great way to group courses together if you want to. We saw how to create just one course that will lead to just one certificate, but what if you want to have the learners completing a series of courses that will lead to just one certificate? You can add curriculums for that. And since we're talking about sales, it's going to be the sales series courses. It's going to show up on the catalog, so the learners will pick the curriculum and be assigned to all the courses that we'll add here. So that's why we need to also assign it to one of our categories. If you want, you can add a description, and you will see some advanced settings that you already saw in courses. If we want, the curriculum will be automatically assigned to any new user that I will add from now on in my system, so you don't have to do this manually. And whether it's going to appear on the catalog of your main site, and if you're working in branches too. If you are one of our customers that are selling their courses, you should know that this is a way to bundle courses together and sell them with one single price right here. And again, you can attach one certificate at the end of the curriculum, because we want to complete all the courses, they will get just one certificate. So let's save that. And from our list of courses, let's find which of the courses I would like to include in the curriculum. So you see there are 2 courses, and you can also set the order they will appear. And it's just the order. It's not a way to force the learners and complete the courses in that order, which is just for visual purposes. If you want to make sure that they complete the advanced course before the basics course, it's a course setting. You will find it, as Nick showed you at the beginning, when you are creating a course, there's a field depends on, and there you can set your prerequisites. Again, you can assign it to users, you can assign it to appear in other branches as well. And in the rules is where you can choose how the average score of the curriculum will be calculated. And if you want all the courses that are added to the curriculum to be completed, or if you have some optional courses, the learners will not have to do those too. So there are just some mandatory courses to get to the certificate they want to.
That's absolutely great. And thanks a lot as well, Mary. Now, we did mention before, when we were creating the course, that we have the ability to enable discussions for the course. So let's briefly go over this as well. How you can have discussions. If you look here at your home screen, you have a tab for discussions. Discussions are based on courses. So if you have a course where you enable the discussions, you're going to find them here. I can have a look, and I actually see that we have the Sales Advanced course that we created and we enabled the discussions. So let's see what we have here. We can click, and we can see we already have 2 discussions in place. If you want to create a new discussion, all you have to do is click here, start a new discussion. You're ready to post your message. So that's my message. And maybe I can give it a title as well, and I can call it feedback needed. So I have my message, I have my title. And of course, remember, this is the advanced editor where you can add images or links or anything you want. In addition, if you want maybe to share a specific file, you can choose and upload it here. We can just click on add to add this specific thread. And now this is ready. The rest of the learners are going to be able to see this, reply to the specific post, and reply to each other and comment on the post. We can see how this looks like if we just take one step back and, for example, look at the refresh on sales basics here. This is the initial message that went out. But as you see, this person also replied And in addition, this person replied to this person. So you can actually have a forum and live discussion going between your learners and your instructors, or maybe your admins, everybody in the confines of a course. So discussions are very powerful, and it's an easy way for you to get in touch with your learners. And this is going to make your life, of course, more advanced and better, because you get all the ability to get feedback in a very different way than a normal survey.
And now let me share my first tip with you and check how we can test all of that. Okay, you may have already a learner account and you switch to that, or you are sharing a learner account. And then when you go to users, you will find here all the users that you have created. And if this user has been intended just for testing, there is this little button that allows you to impersonate the user, which is great for testing, but also for troubleshooting. So if this is actually a real learner and they have asked for some help and guidance, you can log in into their account and see what's going on and help them out. But now we're going to use this for testing. Let's log in into their account this way. I became Mr. Adams right here. You see I am a different user, and I can see the course that I have organized into different categories. That's why we had created the categories, and the sales course that my instructor, Nick, added me to. So I can start the training. Very interesting. I have some information. If you had a description here, it would show up. There is a file that is shared with me. So if I want, I can go there and preview or download this on my computer. I'm going back to the course and I feel ready to start my training. So let's go and start the course. And I need to select a session. Remember, we created live sessions as part of our training. I see there is a morning one, an afternoon session. I'm not very a morning type of person, so I'm going to go with the afternoon. I'm going to attend this one. Thank you. And here I can find all the information. So I have to go to the meeting room because it's in a physical location that will take place. And when the instructor completes that unit for me, I will be able to go to the next one, unless you have removed the 0 rule that we showed before and you allow the learners to skip units. They can complete the units in the order that they want.
And we promised that we have 2 tips for you. So here's another one. So we mentioned that, of course, how it looks for the learner, but I want to talk about something last here, and this is the notifications. Now, why would you want to use notifications? First off, notifications are automated emails that go out to whoever I specify when a specific event happens. And what you can see here, if you have a look through all of your notifications, you will see that there are a lot of notifications that are connected to different parts of the training. For example, if we just scroll through them, you can see that we have when somebody is assigned to a training session, or maybe when the training session is canceled, or when the training session starts, for example. So you have a lot of different ones. But right now, let's look at a more simple one. For example, let's say a learner completed the course. We can toggle it on and off, of course, from here, but we're just going to edit this right now. So the course is completed. This is my condition, and we want to see what's going to happen, what sort of notification is going to go out. The notifications are language specific. So if you have learners that have actually selected a different language, right now required is in English because this is the default language of my portal. But if I have learners who have selected a different language for themselves, maybe I can have the same notification going out in Dutch or in French. It's absolutely viable. And what we can see here, first off, you can see the recipient. So you can determine who is going to receive this specific notification. And we can see that we can give it to the end user, to the admin of the branch, or the course instructors. Of course, this is flexible. You can delete it and you can add whoever you want. For sure, we want to notify the end users. And maybe we also want to notify the instructors of the course. So these are the 2 types of people that are going to receive this automatic email. We get to other subject. And as you see, this is my subject here. You have completed the course. And then we see this course name in this kind of squiggly brackets. What is this? This is one of our smart tags, and you can use that because it's a dynamic field. So because this notification is going to go out every time a learner completes a course, we cannot, of course, know in advance which course is going to be and what is going to be the name for the course. So you can use from the bottom the smart tags they're going to put this dynamic field here, and it's going to look into the system, find the correct value, the course that triggered this event, the course that my learner completed, and fill in the information here. As you see, I have my advanced editor as well that I can use for the body of the email that is going to go out. And we have just written this message, but as you see, we have added a button that people can click to download certificate. Remember, if you want, you can swap to code view and you can add a lot of different things yourselves. However, there's a second email down here. Why is this second email? Because if you remember, we specified that we want this automation, this notification to go out to our end users and also our course instructors. And here is the subject and the body for the end user. The reason why this exists, and this does not exist in all notifications, but it does in this one, this is why we chose it, is because probably you want to use different wording when you're talking to the learner to tell them, congratulations, they completed the course, versus an instructor where would you let them know that, hey, your user Nick completed the course. So if that is the case, here you create a subject and the body with exactly the same rules, but the difference is that this goes to everybody else, my administration team, who are not a part of the end users. Now, right here at the bottom, we have the ability to encapsulate the message into the template. What does this do? Well, if I go back home to my notifications, you will see that I have here a template that I can customize. This template essentially contains a predetermined header and footer. And of course, I can use code to edit it as I see fit. And now here it says message body. This message body is where the notification is going to go. So if you encapsulate the notification, then it's going to go here in between the predetermined header and footer I have created. If I don't click on that, then the notification is going to go out with whatever header and footer I created individually for the notification. And with that said, that does it for today. So I want to thanks a lot, first off, George, who was there answering your questions in the Q&A section. And of course, we want to thank Mary that was here with me to do this whole presentation.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for participating today.
And before we go, we want to let you know we do have a specific email here that you can reach out to us, trainingteam@efrontlearning.com. This is our email address. You can reach to us if you have further suggestions, maybe for any future webinars, as this was the pilot one, the first one for eFront. So if you have any more suggestions, maybe you have some more advanced questions, by all means, reach out to us. We're more than happy to assist you in any case. And of course, until the next time and until the next session that we're going to have together, happy learning.